I want to tell you an incredible, incredible story because I feel that stories project such powerful messages. There was a man named Shimon who was suffering financially, and he owed the banks a lot of money, and he owed private individuals a lot of money. He didn't have enough money to pay his monthly bills, and to make matters worse, he had just lost his job. Poor guy. Feeling depressed and not knowing where to turn to, he decided to go to the park for some menuchat nefesh, some peace of mind, and he sat there on the park bench for 2 hours. Suddenly, a guy wearing pajamas sat down next to him, and he began a conversation with this guy, Shimon. He says, "So, no, how are you doing?" And Shimon was so down and out, he opened his heart to this guy sitting there with pajamas. He says, "How am I doing? I'm terrible. My life is in shambles. I have no money. I'm drowning in debt. Not only that, I just lost my job and my future looks hopeless. My wife doesn't have kavod for me anymore. The neighbors think I'm horrible. That's how I'm doing. I'm doing terrible." So the man smiled and he says, "I don't know if you know who I am, but my name is Warren Buffett. And I'm a man of many means. And I think I might be able to help you." Shimon was shocked. Everybody knew who Warren Buffett was. This man was one of the wealthiest men in the entire world. And he tells Shimon, says, "You see, I was watching you for the past 2 hours from my window in the apartment building across the street, and I saw how sad you looked. And I decided I want to help you. So let me tell you what I'm going to do for you today. I am going to loan you $2 million. I want you to use this money, get back on your feet, and 1 year from today, at this time, you're going to meet me back at this park bench and give me back the money." Shimon could not believe what just happened. Never in a million years, actually, but never in 2 million years, did he expect Warren Buffett to appear in the park and loan him this money. But then he sees the man taking out a pen and a checkbook and signing a check. Warren Buffett was known for being a little bit of a cuckoo guy, eccentric in some way. And he gives him the check. And Shimon thanked Mr. Buffett, put the check in his pocket, and he walked away feeling like a brand new person. The simple knowledge that he had this check in his pocket gave him such self-confidence, such encouragement to succeed. Guess what happened? He secured a new job. He quickly climbed up the corporate ladder of success. Every one of his business dealings had hatzlacha. He began to make money. He paid off all his debts, and he managed to put away some savings. By the time the year was over, Shimon bought a house and gained back the kavod, the respect of his wife and the entire community. So on that day, 1 year later, Shimon went back to the park and sat down on that bench. Sure enough, Warren Buffett sat down next to him once again in his pajamas. And he said, "So, how are you now?" And Shimon smiled and he says, "How am I? I'm fantastic. And it's all because of you. Everything changed for me on that day that you gave me the check. I felt so different about myself. I carried myself with a new sense of hope and pride. And as a result, my fortune, my mazal began to change. I found a new job. I paid off all my debts. I bought a house. And I really have to thank you for making this possible for me." And then Shimon reached into his pocket and pulled out a wrinkled, crumpled piece of paper. And Mr. Buffett says, "Oh, what's this?" And he says, "Oh, that's the check you gave me. As you could see, I never cashed it. Just knowing that I had the money in my pocket to fall back on was enough for me to feel differently about myself. Just knowing that somebody believed in me was enough for me to feel good about myself and to see myself in a positive light and to succeed. And I want to thank you for believing in me. Ladies, all of a sudden, 2 men in white uniforms appeared in the park. Shimon looks up at them and he says, can I help you with something? And they say, actually, we were wondering, is this guy bothering you? And Shimon says, no, why? And they tell him, well, this man runs away once a week from the mental hospital across the street, and we always have to go looking for him. And you know what else? Sometimes he even tells people he's Warren Buffett, the millionaire. I hope he didn't give you one of his phony baloney checks, because it's not worth the paper that it's signed on. And then these 2 men took this Warren Buffett, who was still in his pajamas, away, and Shimon just sat there stunned. He got up, and as he was walking out of the park, he noticed that blowing in the wind was that crumpled check. If someone else would pick it up, they would see a check for $2 million. But Shimon knew that it was worth much more, so much more. Ladies, each one of you is capable of finding the treasure within you. If only you would realize how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu is backing every step of your way. You have to believe more in the power of your emunah and in the power of you. This is what's going to give you strength to rise above any challenge and to rise above what you've become. You have to believe in your strengths because HaKadosh Baruch Hu believes in you.